Hey, what's up, guys? All right, I'm doing another video on gun control because there's something I want to make another point here. I was recently watching Pete's video, Pete from the Armory channel. If you haven't watched his channel yet or watched his videos, please do. He's a great person, good friend of mine on YouTube and outside YouTube. In fact, I want to make another trip down there to see him, hopefully, in the summertime. But anyway, he made a video and he was talking about how pro-Second Amendment people are not looking to compromise. And I would agree with that. The government attacking all these gun issues and wanting to ban this and wanting to restrict that, they're asking for so much on purpose, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people agree with me. They're asking for so much so that when you compromise down a little bit so it doesn't seem as bad, they're getting their original, what they originally wanted. Let me give you an example. If you're a little kid and you want a cookie, you can say, hey, Mom, can I have a cookie? And she could say no, and then you have no wiggle room there. Okay, no cookie, fine. But if you're a kid and you ask for 10 cookies, you want to go, what are you, insane? You're not having 10 cookies. Come on, come on. And you beg and beg and beg. And then maybe she'll go, well, you can't have 10 cookies. I'll give you 2. When you ask for so much, there's room to compromise. If the government said, hey, we only want to do this, and then the NRA and everyone else just smacks it down. But if they ask for so much, like they're doing, something that's so big and extravagant, they could compromise down to what their original goal was. So they can't lose. So what I think his point was making, a lot of people on YouTube, the point they're making is that there is no compromise. Just because they're asking for so much bad stuff that we don't want to say, okay, we'll give you this, because that is a compromise, and we don't want to compromise on what we feel is our Second Amendment right. And you can't infringe on that. What part don't you understand? But I will say this, and I think that everyone on YouTube in the gun community could agree with this. There is one compromise that I personally would be willing to make. Now hear me out. There's only one thing that I feel all of us could agree on, is that none of us really truly care if they intensify the penalties for the misuse of guns. Okay, if they make the punishments for gun crimes more harsh. Now, nothing ridiculous, like, I don't know, if you have an accidental shooting and no one gets hurt. Like, let's say you have a discharge in public or something. You don't want to get the death penalty for that. It's too extreme. But if you were to compromise, that's the only place that I would want to compromise or willingly compromise, because I don't think it'll affect any good gun owner. Now, some people might argue with that a little bit and say, well, what if I have an accident? Well, no, you don't have an accident. Being a responsible gun owner means you don't accidentally fire your gun when you don't mean to. So that should be out of the question. That's the only place that I would really compromise, is with that. With, okay, if I do something bad with my guns, sure, you can give me a harsher penalty for it. And I think that this would make the general public happy as well, because right now the biggest issue that I have, and all of us have really, is that anyone who's for, pro-guns, pro-Second Amendment, is that you're attacking good people. Why are you making laws when bad people don't follow the laws? However, this is something I think would be effective. If the punishment for armed robbery was even worse than it is now, it may make the criminals think twice about, robbing someone with a gun. Maybe they'll use a knife instead because the punishment isn't as bad. But people like you and me will never have to worry about that because we don't do bad things with our guns. This takes the focus away from good, positive, responsible gun owners and turns it on to the criminals, which is the only real problem. When people talk about how bad guns are, they're referring to criminals using guns in a poor fashion, using it to hurt people, to scare people, to intimidate people for, greedy needs, to steal, to pillage. So let's take the focus off of good gun owners and only punish the people who are misusing guns. That makes the most sense to me. That's the only compromise I'd be willing to make, and wouldn't think twice if they did that. Don't punish good people. I'm a gun owner. I don't do anything wrong with my guns. Why are you going to make it harder for me to get something that either I like or I think is cool? I don't care if it's more dangerous. And people have used different arguments, which, I totally respect everyone's opinion. And one person said, well, why stop at guns? Why not make bombs illegal? It was a good point, I think. What they made is, well, guns can hurt people, and you're saying, you want guns and you're responsible. Why not the same with bombs? Why can't you legally have bombs? Well, I don't know. I honestly can't answer that. I think it's a good, a decent rebuttal, for anti-gun owners or anti-guns in general. I think it's a little of a bit of a stretch, but I respect your opinion if you don't like guns. But a lot of times, as one person on YouTube had mentioned, that a lot of the anti-gun people fight with emotion and not facts. Not to say that there aren't facts, and there are very intelligent people who are against guns, and they do have a decent argument most of the time. Um, but unfortunately, when you're having a discussion with someone, if you're pro-gun and they're against gun, a lot of times it doesn't matter what you say. Neither one of you are going to change your minds. When I go into a discussion with someone, I try not to make an argument. I try to make it a respectful discussion so that they may tell me something that changes my mind. I feel so strongly about guns, I don't feel that anything you could say would change my mind, but at least I'm open to that. I'm open to listening. I'm not just here to argue. I'm not just here to push my opinions on someone. I'm here to actually have a discussion about it and perhaps learn from each other. I may convince you that guns are okay, that it's not the gun, it's the people using them. You may convince me otherwise. Probably not, but I'm open to trying. So yeah, I mean, the point of the video is to say that if you government or the general public wants to do something to stop gun crimes, make the gun crime punishment worse. Don't punish good people, punish the bad people misusing them. Okay, that's the only solution I feel to perhaps, lessening gun crimes. Just my opinion. You may think twice about holding up a bank, or maybe not a bank, I don't know, robbing a convenience store if you're going to get life in prison for it. I don't know. I think that it's been proven a lot of times when people rob stores with guns, a lot of times they don't even have any ammo in their gun. They're using it for intimidation. They don't want to hurt people. Some people get into desperate times and they have no money and they just turn to crimes to survive. No, that's not a good excuse. No, it's not acceptable at all. But a lot of times these people, they don't want to hurt anyone. They certainly don't want to shoot anyone. You know why? Because they don't want to go to jail for the rest of their life. They'll deal with a smaller punishment, but you make those punishments harder, they may think twice about doing that. They may try doing a different crime. Not to say that's good either, but it takes the focus off of good people like you and me, okay? And it puts it on the real criminals, the real gun problems in this country, bad people, okay? Make them go to jail for longer, make the punishments harder. Of course, the rebuttal to that is that our prisons are already filled up, but there's no way going around that. If you're a bad person doing a bad thing, you got to be punished somehow, right? So that's the only compromise I would ever want to make, the only thing I would ever be open to as far as gun control issues go. And I think it's what makes most sense. But hey, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I'd be more than happy to read your opinions. I always do. So that's all, just sharing mine. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.